Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled The Contribution of a Habayit into Judaism. Yitro comes on the scene, introduces a new legislative system, and lo and behold, Moshe accepts it, based on, of course, confirmation from God. There's discussions what exactly was his contribution, what was novel in this idea, why didn't Moshe think about it, and all that, of course, needs to be analyzed. We discussed this in the previous shiur. But be that as it may, the Torah is testifying that Yitro came, introduced an idea, Moshe embraced it. So our Chaim writes that this tells us Chachma b'umot ta'amin, that we should know the Jews don't have a monopoly on all knowledge. We have a monopoly on Sinai. Am Segula chose the nation at Sinai. That is true. We were given 613 mitzvot. The nations were given 7 mitzvot. But in terms of knowledge, even the Gentiles can't have knowledge, and we should understand that. And Yitro teaches that. I wonder if there's another idea that we can add in as well. That not just Gentiles have knowledge, the average Baal Habayit in Judaism should be respected and appreciated and embraced for the knowledge that he has. Now you'll say, what does that mean? It comes to Shaila and Kashrut. A Gentile is cooking in a Jew's home. A Gentile is cooking in a hotel. And he cooks the food from the beginning to the end. And the mashgiach is simply watching and he's not involved in the cooking process. Maybe he lights the fire, maybe he doesn't light the fire. So these questions about kashrut. Someone cut with a dairy knife, an onion, and then he put it in a meat frying pan. What's the status? A person who's not trained in these disciplines has no place. Just like if there's a discussion about astronomy, the steady state theory, and the expanding universe. Is the universe expanding at a quicker rate now? It is slower right now? A person is not an astronomer, and he hasn't been studying this for years and decades. So a person on the outside can't say, well, I feel that the world is expanding at a faster rate than now, because I look at the universe, it just seems that way. That plays no role. Certain technical disciplines, a person who's unlearned, whether it's in astronomy, biology, medicine, dealing with a cancer patient, should have chemo, should have surgery, radiation, just wait. The average person just cannot have a role in these discussions. As we say in Gemara terms, he's not a man da'amar. He has no place in the discussion. Let him learn and study the topic. So that's in halacha, it's Talmudic law, astronomy, biology, anything. If he's not disciplined, he's not mastered this discipline, he could stand on the outside and watch and enjoy until he's ready to jump in and learn this topic. What about areas where he's not a master of, but he has a certain feeling about it, certain intuition? Do we hold he has nothing to say? Education. So you have a famous question that comes up in schools, Board of Education, and the school and the principal and the teachers. So they fund the school, they're very involved in the school, and people sometimes get very upset at the board for getting involved in educational matters as well. So when it reaches a level where the board goes ahead and just makes a decision, this is how you teach, this is how many tests that you should give, and this is how you score, this is how you mark the test, this is how you advance a kid from grade to grade, and they just make unilateral decisions, that's a disaster. However, let's say the principal and the head of the board and the members of the board sit down to discuss certain chinuch issues. Do we say this is the case of astronomy, physics, biology, and halacha? Where these people are outsiders, they have no role? Oh wait, they have understanding of education to a degree. They're involved in the education of their own children at home. For 40 years, they've been raising their children. And they know a little bit of education, maybe not formal classroom education. But is this an area that if you are not in that field, you have no say at all? Well, wait, you also have a role. You have an intuition, you have experience. In my opinion, a person in this area, this field, can have what to say. And it is not the cold field where without expertise you have nothing to say. There's certain things that you pick up from life experience. And you can have an intuition in this as well. Now, of course, you must follow Yitro's model. What was Yitro's model? He said, listen, I think this is a good idea I'm introducing Yitro to Moshe. I think this is efficient, and this could really work, but You discuss it with God. So that has to be the role of a board member as well. Where this is an idea that I think, but ultimately it's you. You can't go to God and discuss with him, but you're in the field. This is your expertise. So of course I will bow to your opinion. So if you come with that humility, then I think the intuition plus the humility could play a tremendous role. Not only do we accept the input from Balabatim in Judaism, we embrace it as long as it is on with several conditions. One, it's not in one of the discipline fields like halacha or Talmudic analysis of a sugya with all the commentaries which the person did do he just cannot be part of. And two, he approaches it with humility and understanding that he's an insider / outsider. And he might have an insight that someone on the inside doesn't have, but he ultimately has to have that respect and humility. And I think that's what Parsha Yitro is about. Yitro could not come along and judge the cases for Moshe. When this one, by accident, ran into that person's tent and pulled it down and ruined it, without being an expert on the laws of Hoshe and Mishpat, you cannot have anything to say. But in terms of how to deal with the people waiting for hours and possibly have another system, have small courts work up to bigger courts, you don't want to have the technical discipline, that knowledge, and you can suggest it to Moshe Rabbeinu. And I think that's what this Parsha is coming to tell us, that even a person who has not expertise in a specific field, sometimes can play a tremendous role. And I think it's very crucial for the rabbis in Judaism to understand the role that the layman can play in Judaism and to encourage that role, that for the layman to help build up the shuls, help build up the yeshivas, because they have skills that the rabbis may not have, whether it's in marketing or fundraising, or different ideas that what kind of shiurim, what kind of series of shiurim may bring more people into the shul, what may attract people, what topics might work for the people, what format may work for the people. Maybe serving cake and food and this and that, different kinds of ways to present it. Maybe having using the modern technology and a PowerPoint presentation. So these ideas of chinuch that Balabatim may have and may be well advanced, more even than the rabbis. And I think the rabbis need to have the humility to go ahead and accept it as well. And I'm wondering if maybe that was one of the novel ideas that Parsha Yitro is introducing. The greatness of a person, of a Balabayit, who can contribute so much to Judaism. And I think there's an achrayus on the rabbis to embrace this, and there's an achrayus responsibility on the Balabatim to know that, wow, I can have a very special role in building up communities and in Klal Yisrael as well, so if I work together with an efficient and humble manner with the rabbis. Shalom.